The association tipped off last night.
Hell yeah.
And I don't know how often we'll cover it. I'm going to be honest.
Sure.
A lot of storylines coming out of opening night. I assume that's normal. We just haven't paid attention to it in the past. You got Bronny playing with his kid. Mm-hmm. You got the Lakers being good, maybe. Yeah. J.J. Redick's debut, obviously, phenomenal. And then in Boston, how you doing? Keep it moving. Banner night, big rings, dominating performance against the New York Knicks, who, have had a good run as of late.
Mm-hmm.
Not as good as the Pacers, but certainly a good run, and have everybody in New York excited about it. Joining us now to chit-chat a little bit more about all the storylines that have developed and are developing in the NBA. 21-year vet. 21 years he played in the NBA. Ladies and gentlemen, the crossover, Jamal Crawford.
Yeah.
What's up, man?
What up, y'all?
Hey, who's Big Woo? That fitness seems like a good time. Big Woo's got good fitness, I assume.
He does. He's one of the best around in agility and getting bounced for the kids. All the kids go to him. He's a great job, great dude. So got to show him some love.
Yeah, Big Woo's a great name, too. That is a great name.
Fantastic.
Big Woo's got people running over like little hurdles and stuff like that, doing agility drills.
Agility drills. He's doing the sled. He's getting all these kids bounced. He's like the guy out here for sure. So my son goes to him. So everybody goes to him.
Does he have him walking around on those shoes? Those
strip
the
shoes?
calf shoes. Yeah, has he got those? Those shoes. Is that what Big Woo uses? Is Big Woo use?
Nah. Pat, those went out like the 90s. That's like my era, bro. Once those went out there, it was over with. We had to get more creative.
I didn't know if Big Woo was old school. Let's talk about old school. Last night, LeBron, in his 22nd year, plays alongside his son, Bronny. That's obviously the massive story, as it should be. Very cool. Very, very cool. Congrats to the James family. I couldn't fathom how the family felt in it all. Had to be cool moments. Ant goes bananas. LeBron's still playing a lot of ball. What's your takeaway from the Lakers and their debut and J.J. Redick as a whole? Just kind of the Lakers, what you saw from them last night and what our expectations should be.
You can see a clear focus to play through Anthony Davis. And I think that's been a struggle. At times, Davis was the focal point. At times, he would take a back seat. LeBron would be more aggressive. It was clear that Davis is going to be the focal point. I think he's the hub, so to speak. And you can clearly see there's more movement. Like J.J. Redick has movement. He wants the ball to be the star at times, move it around, get easy shots for everybody, keep everybody involved. And then LeBron and his son, who could fathom that? We never thought we'd see it in basketball because guys play average of 4 years, right? If you play 10 years, that's a long career. Nowhere you don't play 22 years and have enough time and be at that level where your son can jump in and play with you and then be on the same team. I'm not sure we'll ever see that again, so I think we'll appreciate it later.
A lot of people obviously pissed off about it.
Losers.
Bingo. That's exactly what I think as well. If his last name wasn't James and his first name wasn't Bronny, we wouldn't be doing this. It's like, but his name is Bronny James, and his dad is one of the greatest of all time. He's been around high IQ basketball literally his entire life. What are your expectations for Bronny in the NBA from at this point? And at what point will we know if Bronny's able to actually kind of cement his own legacy as a player in the NBA?
It's going to take him some time, Pat. For real, I was a top pick. If you go back and look at my numbers after my first year, you thought I was a bust. I was a number 8 pick. I averaged 4 points. I shot terrible. And people are like, why did he get drafted so high? And that was for me. And people don't remember that part. It's going to take him some time. I think he has skills. I think he's athletic enough. He has to it's a difference between having confidence and then having NBA confidence. You can only get that through experience, through playing. And he's going to a good team that has a lot of pressure on him. He's going to be a player. It's just going to take him a couple of years. And then once he gets it and once the game slows down for him, so to speak, he'll be good. He just needs the time. And this is the other part people don't factor in because my sons go through it now. People put the expectations on you like, okay, your dad was your dad played in the NBA, you have to be that. People see the stuff that's good that happens to them. They don't see all the stuff that people talk about them online or in person or whatever it might be. That they have to deal with that as well. But I think Bronny's going to be a player, no doubt about it.
Yeah, they always talk about the positives of being LeBron's kid,
right?
Not the negatives of being LeBron's kid. Like every game you've ever played, packed gym, and everybody hoping you suck on the other side. Everybody hoping you fail. Not easy, obviously, mentally. A lot of things are a little bit easier than most of us, though.
Yeah. Last night, the prank, he put all the cereal in his car, and Bronny just says, okay, I'll just take my other car.
Yeah.
I'll take my other car. I'm stunned. No, I'll take my other car. I ain't worried about that.
Well, NIL's a real deal, and obviously he has a massive following, so he's a good businessman just like his old man.
Sure, man.
But the Fruity Pebbles getting dumped. Think about That might have been 2 billion individual Fruity Pebbles.
Oh, my God.
The amount they filled up that particular car. I like that the camera person in the bushes.
Can't see him.
See it? I think they filmed this for real, and then they asked Nike if they wanted to sponsor it.
Yep.
I think that's what happened. I think it was a real photo.
Everything with LeBron is always layered. So you see he's jumping his Maybach. They could have took it to Nike themselves, so it's always a double entendre there for sure.
Yeah, that's next level. Hey, that's 22 years in the NBA doing his thing. You talked about how the average career is like 4 years, then 10 years, 22 years is crazy. You played 21 years. At what point should we expect LeBron's? And I understand he's seemingly built different than every human I've ever seen, I think. And obviously 21 years playing basketball, running on hardwood. I mean, that's insane to think about for your joints. But he's seemingly playing a lot still, like a lot. We got a chance to see Vince Carter down in Atlanta in his 22nd season, and he was coming in spells. It was like a 4 or 5 minute, Vince Carter's on the court, all eyes on Vince too. He was getting the ball every time he was down there. It was awesome. We were lucky to see it, but then he was off. He wasn't like main driving factor for team. Do you expect LeBron to continue that type of action this season? And at what point should we expect that to drop off?
I look at LeBron like Mayweather. And what I mean by that is this. Mayweather wasn't getting into the exchanges as much as he got older. LeBron's pacing himself while he's on the court. So whatever he lost athletically, and he's still in the 99 percentile, right, of athletes in the world, whatever little slippage he lost, he gained his mind. I can rest while I'm on the court. I'll let the ball be the star. I'll throw it ahead so I can kind of coast in and then pick my spots and still be out here, be effective, and be great. I mean, we saw what he still did in the Olympics. I think for him, his only challenge is going to be him and his mind and how long he can keep his mind fresh. Because athletically, if we're saying there's a little bit of slippage and he's still averaging 25, 7, and 6, like, what are we talking about? Like, that dude is from another planet. So I think as long as his mind is fresh, he's figured out how to still win the battles and win those games without taking all those punches, so to speak, like Mayweather did.
During the Olympics, a lot of people were saying he was from another planet.
Yeah.
That was happening because of how that got real loud, actually, there for a bit. Him playing like Messi is fun to think about. Like, you know, Messi's like walking around sometimes. Do I really need to be a 100% sprint right here? Nah. And then when he gets ball, bang, we're off and running. LeBron finding time to rest during play. I'm going to watch for that. I'm going to call him lazy.
There he is.
This guy's lazy.
Walking around.
But he's like...
He's not lazy.
That's what they say about Messi.
It
These
is.
people say this about Messi in the soccer world. He's kind of lazy, just kind of walking around. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, other game that happened, obviously a big one. Connor has a question for you.
Yeah, Jamal, banner night for the Celtics, and they come out on fire, 10 threes in the first quarter. It feels as though at the current moment in time that we could just cancel the season, give the Celtics another championship.
They haven't seen the Pacers.
Yeah, well, the Celtics have, and they swept their ass in 4 games. And didn't even
Tyrese is big Puma now. Remember, he's got the Puma shoes.
Yeah, we'll see how that works out. Yeah, I'm sure it'll be great. It doesn't matter because the Celtics are by far and away the best team in the league. What do you think about them coming out? No rust whatsoever. And is Joe Mazzulla just the greatest coach of all time? And is he just perfect for this Celtics team?
One of the best things that happened to the Celtics was the Olympics. Jaylen Brown not making it. Jason Tatum getting done like he was done. They have fuel again. They're not satisfied. They're like, okay, we'll show you guys again. So think about this. Kristaps didn't even play. Like, they're on a whole nother level.
Forgot about
and the scary stat out of all that is to see Tatum get 10 assists. We know he's going to get 30-plus points. When he gets 10 assists and gets everybody else involved, and you have 5, 6 guys, double-figure threats, with the way they shoot the ball, and the fact that now they know their style can win championships, they believe in Mazzulla. He's all the way, all in. He's an unbelievable coach. I talked to him at the finals when they won it. The way he thinks is different. They have bought into him. They bought into the team. They can go on a run. Remember just a couple years ago, they were trying to break up Brown and Tatum? Now these guys have a mini dynasty if they keep going.
Uh-oh.
Hey, they missed 9 straight threes at the end of the game. Are we worried about that? 9 straight.
No, not at all. Because you know what? They'll make 1 or 2 of those to kind of calm the tide and get back on track. And they sold out to it. And they still have a player in Tatum and Brown, both of them, that can get to the mid-range. And when Kristaps is playing, they can get to the mid-post with him. They'll be fine.
9 straight?
I mean, think about what Mazzulla is saying about those 9 straight misses. Just more fuel to the fire. Just pour it on.
Because if they would hit it 1 more 3, it would have broke a record for most threes in a game?
Yeah.
Which I assume Golden State has.
I'm assuming that as well.
I'm assuming they get it this year at some point.
Who, Boston?
Yes.
Better 3-point shooting team than Golden State was when the Splash Brothers were doing their thing?
No. I'm not saying that, but they're shooting a higher volume. They shot 62 threes. Like you're gonna make. That's unbelievable to shoot 62 threes. I don't think Golden State was probably shooting in the 40s at that point. So they're just gonna shoot.
Oh, yeah, Missoula was getting judged because it was like, hey, when the threes aren't falling, you got to be able to make adjustments. You're not going to be able to do it. That was what he was getting judged for, right?
Yeah, bingo, yeah. And all 5 of the guys on the court can shoot the 3. At Golden State, I feel like they didn't really have all 5 of them chucking.
Draymond can drain from 3. Is that who you're talking to?
No. I was more so.
No. I got to go with Pat. I was in the gym with Draymond this summer, and I was blown away how good he can actually shoot. He actually can shoot threes. I promise you. I would not lie. I co-signed that. I stamped that.
You ever see him dance?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
People that can dance can shoot. That's just kind of how it goes. You got to have those loose shoulders.
I saw Ben Simmons shooting 3s this summer, too.
Well, he doesn't know which hand he is. And that is, that's. What, Jamal? Am I right? I don't know basketball. Is that right?
You do.
Okay. So that's what I see when I see him shoot.
Right.
Okay, this guy doesn't know. There's been instances in football where you see somebody throwing in football, and it's like, that's the wrong arm.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be you're supposed to be on the other side. At basketball, it's pretty apparent. Isn't LeBron a lefty, allegedly?
Yep.
He is a lefty. The only thing he does is shoot with his right hand. He autographs with his left hand like he's a lefty.
And didn't he we'll do offhand shooting drills, and then he says, I'm a lefty.
Yeah.
And then he shoots righty against everybody, which is what he shoots in the NBA.
Yeah, love it.
That's such a good move.
Yeah.
That is such a
Layers.
good move.
Always layers.
The Boston Celtics tied the Milwaukee Bucks
okay.
from those threes in a game. Don't know when or how, but that is who they tied
Michael
with.
Red.
2020, there was 29 of them. That was in the bubble. Oh, that was an easier bar.
That doesn't count.
That was an easier
That
bar.
doesn't count.
That does not count. I was in the bubble. I didn't play much. That doesn't count. That doesn't count.
I heard it was easier to shoot in there. Is that accurate?
So much easier. I hadn't played in 16 months. I was fresh off the streets and came back like I had never left in the bubble. The bubble had special powers in it.
Why is that? Because it was shorter, so it was easier to shoot into because the optics. Why was it easier to shoot in there?
Yeah, the depth perception was different. There was no crowd noise. You didn't even smell the popcorn. It was just a different feel. It was like playing pickup with cameras. So it was a totally different feel.
Lakers won a championship then. Don't ever forget it.
And the New England, the Boston network or whatever took a shot at him, actually, because they listed out all the most titles ever. 18 Celtics, 17 Lakers, and they put an asterisk on it, and at the bottom it said Disney Championship included.
No.
Hey, that's what they did.
They also got the Super Duper Mega Cup halfway through the year last year.
They hang the banner.
They did. Was it in the lobby or they hanging in the?
No, they hang it in the big one.
See, they need to put that in the lobby.
They should put
That's a lobby banner.
Yeah.
That's not. That's a lobby banner. I think the halfway through tourney should be designated lobby banner.
I agree.
NBA Cup, baby.
Yeah, the NBA Cup, there it is. Ty has a question for you, Jamal.
Yeah, Jamal, so it looks like the Celtics are just the runaway favorites in the East, but a lot of people are talking about the Sixers. What are your thoughts on Joel Embiid saying from the get-go, hey, I'm not playing in any back-to-backs this year? I think this is part of the reason why casual fans can't stand the NBA, because some of the biggest stars already, in the load management era are just saying, hey, I'm not playing back-to-backs. My body can't handle it. Can a team win a championship when their best player, you don't know if he's going to be healthy enough to play 2 nights in a row?
Yeah, I don't like it. I mean, obviously he knows his body, so he knows that, it's been through trauma, it's been through stress, and maybe he was frustrated in that moment. He may have got some news, who knows? But I don't like, planning down the line that you're not going to play back-to-backs. And that's my thing. When the NBA was more like physical and when practices were real practices and you practice 2 or 3 hours, I was saying then, 10, 15 years ago, like, look, if guys are going to miss games with load management and all that, just have them miss practice. Because there's a kid out there whose dad or parents bought them tickets for a game to step in 300 level 2 months in advance, not knowing, if their favorite player is going to play or not. Obviously, Joel was saying it before the season, so obviously he knows his body, but I don't like it overall. No, I don't think that you can win a championship when there's just the continuity of rhythm when your best player or any player in the rotation is in and out like that.
And I know there's new stats and analytics, and I guess the sleeping is a massive piece of it all too, because your guys' sleep schedule, I guess, is like the worst in the history of, like, even rock stars and people that have been on tour for music for a long time have better sleep schedules than like NBA players. So I think that all that factors into hey, we're taking care of ourselves in these games. And the NBA acknowledges that it went too far. Do the players acknowledge that, you think, or no?
I think so, for sure, because there'll be times that I've heard that players want to play, but the analytics and the numbers say, you know what, your management, your load management has been so high. The way they put the trackers on you on your jersey in practice to see your how much you've run and all that stuff. So they try to manage that to prevent injury. But I think I'm a creature of habit. I'd rather play, even if it's not at the highest level. Okay, I'll practice instead of an hour and a half. I'll go an hour hard and tail off the last 30 minutes. But at least I'm still in rhythm. And I think that protects me more from injury.
So you have your way. And we've always talked about this with analytics in our world as well. It's like not everybody's built the same. Like I was a punter for a profession, and they have counts. Yeah. They have counts now on people. Like counts, like, hey, you're only allowed to hit 25 balls on this day or 30 balls on this day.
Right.
And it's like, if that was happening when I was around, mentally, I'm not tough enough to do that. Because if at ball 25, I'm not hitting the ball well yet, it's like.
It still feels good, right?
Yeah, until I can sleep tonight. Like, what do you guys started cutting me off, and now I'm not going to be let's talk about the analytics of my sleep all of a sudden, because tonight I'm going to be like, am I the worst ever? And is it ever going to come back? I wonder how much that's all getting, taken into in this analytics world. I assume water will find its level, though, at some point with the introduction of all this new information. I hope so, because, anytime big names are supposed to come play in Indiana, building sells out.
Oh, yeah.
It sells out. And not that the Pacers don't sell out every single time. The Pacers do. There's great basketball fans. But you go to those games where stars are in the building, you see a lot of those jerseys. Mm-hmm. And I've been in there a couple times. A lot of those jerseys, dad and son maybe, coming in is his favorite player.
Yeah.
And that guy's sitting there the whole time, just sitting there the whole time. And it's announced 30 minutes before the game.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, Jesus. I'm happy they kind of figured that out. Hopefully able to kind of get it right for the future. D-Butts has a question for you, Jamal.
Yeah, Connor already talked about the wagon that the Celtics are, unfortunately. Who else in that East do you think can give them a run? Heard Reggie Miller on the call last night a couple times say, hey, the Knicks, they might be the second best team in the East, second best team in the league. I know you got the Knicks there. The Heat will always be competitive. The Bucks, obviously. Sixers, probably not what they got going on. But who else out of that East do you think can give the Celtics potentially a run for their money down the stretch?
I was actually shocked, to be honest with you, with Dame and Giannis not like clicking right from the start, because I thought their games on paper fit perfectly. But then obviously Doc Rivers comes in, which is a whole other thing as far as getting his system in place. So I expect the Bucks to be better this year. I think the Knicks obviously will be a lot better. They may not be better in the regular season, which is interesting because I think it'll take time. But in the playoffs, when you need space and every point counts, I think that's when Cat and Brunson's chemistry will really rise to the table. I still think they need a little bit more on the bench. Deuce McBride had a great game last night, but just consistently. It might be Mikal Bridges, starting the first unit, the first 6-7 minutes and coming out earlier and then come back with the second unit so he can put his scoring hat on. But I think the Knicks will be right there. Miami's always tough, and I think we saw with Jimmy Butler this year in the summer. He's engaged, he's ready to go. They're always better in the playoffs. They have been to 3 of the last 6 finals, so I think they'll be right there as well.
What about on the West? We got Joker again. Is Joker just about to go on a run here? Is he pissed off about what happened in the Olympics? Because he was seemingly a little bit emotional. Very excited when they won. Very boozed up. Did not know he was getting that medal, I don't think, on that particular game at in the Olympics. Showed up, had a good time with his team, celebrating. They inevitably lose. Is he revenge? What is who on the West should we be looking at? Phoenix? They still got everybody? Yeah. Phoenix still has everybody or no?
Phoenix, yes, they do. I think, and they got a point guard now, Pat. I think Phoenix is the dark horse in the West. And the reason why is because when you look at when Durant first went to Phoenix, him and Booker were almost overpassing to get each other the ball. It seems at some point they had lost that kind of continuity, but I think the Olympics got it back. You see, Booker is one of the most important players, not because he was scoring, he was doing everything else. Durant was doing everything else. And then afterwards, a small thing, but a big thing, they go on vacation together right after the Olympics. So I think they'll be a dark horse contender. Having a point guard now, Tyus Jones, who's as solid as they come, he'll take the thinking out for those guys. Do what you do best. Go score buckets, Brad Beal, KD, Book. I'll do the thinking. I'll put you guys in position. Coach Bud is a great coach as well. I have Phoenix in the West. I think Denver will be there. I think Joker's the best player in basketball. He's the guy you can combine 4 all-time greats in Hakeem and Bird and Magic and blend it up, and now you got Joker. Like, he's the guy that can bridge the 90s and this era playing bully ball and shooting threes. So I think they'll be there as well.
Okay, I appreciate the hell out of you. Ishbia down there in Phoenix will spend all the money.
Yep.
He will pay the biggest luxury tax every year if he has to. We're going to win.
And he was a baller. Played at Michigan State.
We saw him in here. He knocked down a few.
Yeah, he's got to jump.
He's still got a shot. Still got a shot. Hey, speaking of that, I was about to say, because here in Indiana, if you see a white dude from Indiana can shoot a basketball, that is just like kind of a rule of thumb. I learned that when I got out here. Hey, you want to go shoot, do some of this, you want to play this, horse, whatever, and then you just get worked because they shoot a lot out here. You know what I mean? The Lakers, 2 starting American whites out there. This team got it. Hey, let's go, dude. That's a big deal. Connect and Reeves.
Yeah.
There was a couple moments they slapped hands. I saw lightning.
Yeah.
I saw
explosion.
I saw the whole thing happen, Jamal. You saw it too, didn't you? You saw it.
I did see it. They both have swag, though. They both got swag. I love both their games. I love how they play.
I think the NBA is in a great spot with superstars.
Oh, yeah.
Especially coming out of the Olympics. I think the Olympics was very good for basketball, professional basketball.
And then Wemby after the Olympics, too. Him and Chris Paul now in San Antonio.
And then also a documentary series.
Yeah, the Starting 5 documentary, Jamal. Did you watch any of that, and were you surprised by anything you saw in there? Because it was so much access from start to finish.
I've only saw clips. I have to dive into it because I absolutely have to see it. I've heard nothing but great things about it. But just going back to Wemby, I had the honor of working out with him this summer. And I'm going to say this on record. If he stays healthy the whole way, he will be one of the top 5 players ever. I promise you guys. There's nothing like him. Nothing like him.
So you walked over to him, you go, hey, Wemby, what is this what it is when you're talking to him?
Yeah, absolutely. I feel like a shrimp. I feel like a midget when I'm standing next to him. He's just so tall and so like athletic. It's crazy. It doesn't even look real. It does not look real. It's crazy.
Yeah, you got to stay. I guess we stay away from when you're talking, so it's not as drastic as a
arm's length
front row of the movie theater.
Yeah.
Don't want to be there.
Yep, exactly.
Don't want to be front row of the movie theater.
Thunder Alley.
Because your neck's like this the whole time. Talking to Wemby but you go back to COVID rules with Wemby. You stay 6 feet away from him
at all times,
so that you don't have to break your neck doing it. He started figuring it out towards the end of the year, right? And the San Antonio Spurs, they bring in Chris Paul. That should help with everything because he'll know who to get the ball to. Wasn't that kind of an issue last year?
Yeah, they wouldn't pass him the damn ball. He's wide open, cutting through the lane, and everyone wants to get their own shots.
They know it's his team now, right? And Chris knows that. That's what Chris Paul was brought there for, right?
Yes, and if you look at Chris Paul and you look at his help with young players, right? Looking from like SGA, people forget that was like his protege. So with Wemby, I've talked to Chris, and he's like, man, this dude can do everything. So the fact that Chris is like still playing, but also mentoring and seeing Wemby go to the next step, Chris is going to give him insight like, not just time to score, but okay, it's the 4th quarter. We have to have a bucket. Where's your spot? Like things to think about. Like, okay, I know I'm going to this spot late in the game. This is my money spot. I can create for myself and my teammates. So Chris is having him open up his mind in that way. And that's little jewels like that will help pay off dividends for Wemby long term.
What was your money spot?
The middle of the court, because you couldn't double team there. I could see everything, right? And I can hesitation pull up. I can hesitation beat you. Or I can just get to my spot and get to the elbow. So anywhere in the middle of the court, that's always the hardest place to double team. If you double, I just make the kick and make the read.
You still got a little wiggle out there, or those joints can't do it anymore? Joints can't.
Pat, are you serious? You better go to my Instagram. It looks like I'm in hyperspeed right now. Okay, the joints are feeling good. I'm not doing the 82 game grind right now. I'm looking for Gilly the Kid because he wants to play 1-on-1, and he doesn't really want these problems. I'm in rare form right now. I feel better than I did in the bubble.
To be clear, though, when Gilly basketball clips hit your feed, it's like, God damn, he
can make a ball bit.
He's fooling people.
Well, NBA players obviously a little bit different animal versus everybody else. But are you any of that retirement science too? Is that why you're potentially playing at hyperspeed?
Well, not all the way. I just, I got rid of the Sprites and I got rid of the Kool-Aid, and I'm all water right now. I'm eating a lot healthier. I got rid of the candy. So I'm feeling, look, this is yesterday. See what I'm saying? That's the Penny Hardaway spin with a little dash. Look, is that hyperspeed or what? It looks like I'm glitching. That's 2K right there. 2K. I move to create the system.
The people you're playing against know what's about to happen. They know as soon as you're there, everybody understands what's about to take place.
I hope they do, so I can reach further in my bag and do another move. I hope they know exactly what I'm going to do, so it can make me a little bit better.
Yeah, but if they pick you, if they get the ball from you or create a turnover, they're telling the story forever. I mean, Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
That guy right there, that's a former NFL player. That's Torrey Humphrey right there from the Saints.
Well, you don't have to do that to
Yeah,
an NFL guy. Do it to somebody else. I see somebody else around here. Do that.
Hey, I'm an equal opportunity abuser. Anybody can get it when they're part.
All right. We appreciate you joining us, man. You're the
it.
best. Ladies and gentlemen, Jamal Crawford.
Yeah, Jamal.
I'm on fire. It's 88 on the